fishing in the Kafue River. Government has urged transport and logistics companies to prioritize safety of employees, especially truck drivers covering local and international routes. In foreign news, over 150 people have died in a crash in South Korea's capital Seoul, with another 82 injured. Plus, the fight for supremacy at the 2022 Women's CAF Champions League begins today as Green Buffaloes women faces Liberian side Determined Girls in the opening Group A encounter. A 30-year-old man of Kitwe has been killed by a crocodile while he was fishing in the Kafue River. Jimmy Mwewa of Ndeke, Changa Township was attacked yesterday around 18 hours while fishing with his elder brother. And the older brother to the deceased, Jimmy Chiwe, has told ZNbC News that he witnessed the attack on his younger brother as the reptile grabbed him by the leg and dragged him into the river. Mr. Chiwe says the body of his brother has not yet been recovered. Education Minister Douglas Yakalima has commissioned school infrastructure with over 5 million kwacha at 5 different schools in Kafue district. The infrastructure, which includes classrooms, ablution blocks and water reticulation systems, have been built at each of the 5 schools by the Kafue Child Development Agency with support from Child Fund International. Receiving the infrastructure on behalf of government in Kafue district, Mrs. Yakalima directed district education officials to guard the facilities against vandalism. And Child Fund International Programs Manager Doris Chirwa said over 5,000 pupils will benefit from the school infrastructure. Meanwhile, Kafue District Commissioner Maurice Hikapulwe says the free education policy has seen many pupils enrolling for school in the district. Minister of Education Permanent Secretary Noriana Muneko says education is the best tool to fight early marriages, gender-based violence and other vices in society. Ms. Muneko says government has introduced various programs and policies aimed at promoting the education sector. She was speaking when she officiated at the 60th anniversary of the Catholic-run St. Monica's Girls Secondary School in Chipata. And Chipata Diocese Bishop George Lungu commended the school administration for promoting the tradition of sharing the light of faith through excellent performance at the institution. The anniversary was characterized by a march past, gala dinner and mentorship among many others. Government has urged transport and logistics companies to prioritize safety of employees, especially truck drivers covering local and international routes. Transport and Logistics Minister Frank Tayali says truck drivers are a critical human resource in the country's economy due to their role in international commerce. Mr. Tayali said this in Johannesburg, South Africa, when he visited Memory Banda, a female truck driver who was recently involved in a road traffic accident and sustained head injuries and a broken right arm. And Ms. Banda said she was happy to be visited by the minister. Meanwhile, her uncle Patrick Banda expressed to the Zambian High Commission in Pretoria and to the Zambian community in South Africa for the support rendered so far to the accident victims. Vice President Mutale Nalumango says government remains committed to addressing the issue of infrastructure in some schools. Mrs. Nalumango says government is also aware that there is a challenge of limited classroom space as a result of demand due to the implementation of free education from early childhood to secondary school. She was speaking in a speech read on her behalf by Ministry of Education Director Secondary Education Yvonne Julu in Lusaka last evening during a fundraising dinner towards the solar project at Mpunde Girls Secondary School in Kabwe Central Province. And Mpunde Girls head teacher Betha Matambo appealed to the office of the Vice President to consider rehabilitating the road from Kabwe to the school before the onset of the rains. Meanwhile, chairperson of the Parents Teachers Committee, Owen Pule, thanked government for introducing free education, which has benefited some pupils in secondary schools. An electronic waste management company, Teach E-Waste, has bemoaned the low levels of knowledge on the dangers of electronic waste on the environment. Teach E-Waste Chief Executive Officer Towa Chilongo says most Zambians are unaware of the environmental dangers of electronic waste. Speaking to ZNbC News in an interview, Mr. Chilongo says this is why his firm has embarked on an initiative to engage young people on the dangers of electronic waste materials. And Chilanga Cement head of Eco Unit, Claire Chivesakunda, says the company has partnered with Teach E-Waste to help reduce the amount of plastic waste in the environment. Petauke Central Member of Parliament Emmanuel Banda says he will use part of the Constituency Development Fund to change the face of many schools in the area, among them Petauke Boarding School. Mr. Banda says this is to ensure standards are improved for the learners. And the lawmaker says the increased CDF by government in the 2023 national budget will ensure more projects are worked on to better the lives of the people of Petauke Central. He has thanked the government for their focus to invest more money in the social sector, which he says will have a positive impact in the long run. Mr. Banda said this on the sidelines of gracing the Petauke Boarding Secondary School Reunion Party, which was held yesterday to fundraise for the improvement of water reticulation among other needy areas of the school. And during the function, several pledges were made, starting from the 1977 intake. This news broadcast comes to you from ZNbC in Lusaka. Up next is business news after this message.
Notice to all
fishing in the Kafue River. Government has urged transport and logistics companies to prioritize safety of employees, especially truck drivers covering local and international routes. In foreign news, over 150 people have died in a crash in South Korea's capital Seoul, with another 82 injured. Plus, the fight for supremacy at the 2022 Women's CAF Champions League begins today as Green Buffaloes women faces Liberian side